all the candidates, and I put the name placards here because they were given the option to appear here in person. They were given the option to do a pre-recorded video interview with him, and they were given the option to appear via Zoom. And 2 of the 3 candidates were unable to do those things. And so I want to thank Jessica Little for being here. I want to thank Mike Allen Jr. for being here. And I'm going to give this mic to Mike. And then I'm going to put up here, there's a picture of him again. Anybody else want to see a picture of Mike? Okay, and then he's going to ask 7 basic questions, and we're going to have audience questions. And write down the questions, and here's the 7 questions he's going to ask. And I'm going to give him this microphone.
Thanks, sir.
Give it off to me. Just twist that for however you're going to put it on you.
Got it. So twist it that way?
Yeah.
Let me turn it off. There we go.
There you go.
I got to be smarter than the mic. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to say I'm happy to be here, and obviously I'm happy to see everybody. Definitely not happy we're in this position. I'm going to do my best not to harp on this as much as I can, but reality is this should have been dealt with a year ago. Credible reporters reported credible information on this. I'm not on the Central Committee, but for whatever reason, it took Chris rolling up in a parking lot with a cell phone for anything to be done about this. As a Republican, as a voter in Claremont County, that disgusts me. And what disgusts me more than what Mr. Kramig did, it was the reaction, or lack of reaction. This has been unbelievably embarrassing for the party, for the county, for officers of the court like me, people that go into court every day. It is unbelievable to me that we're all sitting here today having this discussion. This should have been handled a year ago. Now that I've got that rant out of the way, we can get down to business, but the point I'm making is, as Chris said, the municipal court is where your average, everyday people see the court system. It's up close, right in front of them, not on the news, not with this nonsense going on with the former president. The average, everyday citizens are in municipal court every day, and the experiences that they have in that court will dictate how they view the system. It is unbelievably important that, as Chris said, they come away feeling like they got a fair shake, that they were treated with dignity and basic respect, and I think it is a sad state of affairs that the bar is so low that we are only asking those things of candidates, that's an improvement. So again, rant over with. You want to hear me rant, you can listen to me tomorrow night, but now let's get down to business. Ms. Little, thank you very much for being here. So first question, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe some background information?
Certainly. First of all, thank you for having me. I am here really not to make any kind of political pronouncements or take any positions on really anything, except that I'm here because I'm interested in the appointment to the vacancy. And I want to share a little bit about myself and my background so you can make an informed decision. I've been married 37 years to my husband, David. We were high school sweethearts. We graduated from Williamsburg High School. Both my daughters, our daughters, graduated from Williamsburg High School. I went to Miami University and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and went to law school a little bit later in life because, I was busy raising my kids, which I think, people staying home with their kids is a very important job, raising decent human beings. So I went to law school a little bit later. I graduated with honors, magna cum laude, in the top 10% of my class. I worked as an assistant prosecuting attorney in Adams County, and I did private practice also for a few years. Then in 2008, ran for prosecuting attorney. I was elected prosecutor 2 times in Brown County, because we lived in Brown County for about 25 years. And the second time I ran for prosecutor, I won every single precinct. So I really enjoyed serving as the elected prosecutor, as a lot of responsibility, because you're handling, not only representing the state of Ohio in the criminal matters, you're also representing all the elected officials civilly. You know, you're reviewing contracts, you're writing resolutions. So you get you're responsible for not just the sexy criminal part, but also the mundane, routine parts that lawyers do. So I enjoyed that tremendously, but I'm kind of a person that believes in term limits, so I decided I wasn't going to run a second term or for a third term. Sometimes I think getting fresh blood in is a good thing, and my first assistant prosecutor ended up running, and he's continuing in that job today. But I took a job working for Judge Joseph Worley as his magistrate in Brown County Municipal Court. I took that in 2017 because I went more or less right from prosecutor, elected prosecutor, and I stayed a couple months under the new prosecutor because I was kind of helping him transition, but then I wouldn't lose my insurance for a couple months, and I was helping him, and then I started once the former magistrate retired, because he retired in February. So then I started in February of 2017 as the magistrate in a municipal court, which is the same court, handles the same cases that I'm seeking the appointment to. Now, a magistrate is a judicial position, but it's not elected. It's appointed by the judge. And we handle cases the same as the judge does. We do nearly everything that the judge does, except we don't sign search warrants. And I haven't done a jury trial as a magistrate. I've done plenty as a prosecutor, but I do court trials, I hear motions, we do preliminary hearings, I set bonds. I mean, I do everything the judge does. Now, my decisions aren't final until the judge reviews them and signs off on them. Those are magistrate's decisions. They have to be approved by the judge. But we still conduct the hearing just the same as the judge does. Now, in the old days, magistrates used to be called referees, court referees, which I think is a little more descriptive of what we do. You know, we're referees. We make decisions. People come in with disputes. We adjudicate those disputes. But the judge has to approve everything that we do. It's kind of like a doctor with a nurse practitioner. A nurse practitioner is an RN. They've got special training. They can write prescriptions. They can do a lot of things that a doctor does, but they're kind of working under the doctor. You know, the doctor kind of supervises them, but they can do a lot on their own. So that's more or less what a magistrate does. We help judges write their decisions. We do legal research for them. Now, my judge, when he would be gone and unavailable, I would run his docket and my docket. He'd be gone on vacation for several weeks. So I had to do everything, but I loved it. That is my vocation. And I very much enjoy the work. It's very rewarding because I enjoy serving the public. And I think I am good at, listening to people and making decisions, because you make the decisions not only on the law, but because the law is written down somewhere, but it's based on the facts, and finding the facts, what's important, what to consider, getting the evidence in. That's the part that you make your decision on, is what are the facts and how do they fall when you can put it with the law. So I guess I really enjoy the vocation that I'm doing right now.
You may have already answered this in that answer, but this is pretty basic. Why do you want to be a judge?
Well, I'm pretty much doing the same work right now, and I'm looking forward to more responsibility, because I think this position, you know, it is a very important position. You have to be responsible for the people that work under you. You have to be responsible to the public. And I've proven in my years as a prosecutor that I can handle that responsibility. As a magistrate, I can be fair and impartial. And so far, knock on wood, tap,
Get a
tap,
question for you.
yeah, I haven't had any of my decisions overturned by the appeals court. And I'm not saying that that couldn't happen. You know, we all make mistakes, and that's why we have an appeals court. But you still have to make decisions. And I try to give everybody full opportunity to present their cases in front of me, and I really consider the facts. So
It's so refreshing to hear that. Just the balls and strikes portion of it and applying a lot of the facts. Again, it seems like sometimes that can be difficult. As far as unique qualifications go, what do you bring that you believe will make you a good municipal court judge? Honestly, I think the fact that you've done private practice and been a prosecutor is immensely helpful for that. So, but I'll let you answer it.
Well, I think that having the experience in the court, the same court with the same jurisdiction here in the same cases, they're not tremendously different in Brown County than in Claremont County. I mean, so I'm already can offer you that experience, and I think that helps a lot. And having the responsibility as being a prosecutor, all my audits would come out clean. I never had a finding of recovery. You know, have I had bumps in the road? Yes. Anytime you stick your neck out to do something, people are going to try and chop it off. And I've had black eyes occasionally, but I'll tell you what, I clean up my messes. You know, if I make a mistake or do something wrong, or I can see, oh, I need to fix this, I jump on it and I do it. And people that work for me, I'm responsible for them. If they make a mistake, it's me making the mistake. I don't, you know, just try to push it off on it's somebody else, because when you're the top person, you're responsible for everyone and everything.
So next, Judge Cramen resigned over inappropriate activity. He had originally denied that. You're seeking to take his place. How will you be different when it comes to ethics and transparency?
How will I be different?
I know the bar is very low.
Well, I am
You will not go to
saying-
parks in cars with subordinates, I assume.
Yeah, and I'm not here to, you know, pile on or get into any, you know, political things, but there are ethics rules that we're all required to uphold. And, you know, I've had plenty of letters to the disciplinary council, especially as a prosecutor, never had any discipline. Follow the ethics rules. They're written down. You know, we all have standards we're supposed to follow. And I'm not saying yes or no, but if an attorney or especially a judge, if they fall short, other attorneys have the responsibility to, you know, report ethics violations. Again, I don't know any personal information about anything in this particular circumstance, although, you know, just what I've read in the paper. But I'm just saying that we have a high standard. We have ethics rules that apply to people sitting on the bench. And for the past 7 years, I've been trying to follow those. And I will continue to do that.
Thank you. What are the positives and negatives you see with the municipal court as of today? How would you enhance the positives and reform the negatives?
Well, I think the positives is we do have a high standard there, and we do have ethics rules. So we hold that position up. We want it to make sure that the person that sits on the bench is not only worthy of it, but has demonstrated that they can actually follow the rules. So I think it's a positive that we have so many rules and guidelines that we're supposed to follow, because we've got kind of a bright line there. You know, it's all written down, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. How to overcome, the second part of that was the negatives.
Correct. Well, how would you enhance the positives and reform the negatives?
Well, enhance the positives is do your job and follow the rules. But the negatives, I think the transparency is a big thing on what you can be transparent about, because a lot of things happen. I'm just speaking generally, behind closed doors. The public doesn't know what's going on. Some meetings, I'm big on sunshine. As a prosecutor, I had to know pretty much that whole fat book, of open meetings and sunshine. Some of these type of situations are not subject to sunshine. And I kind of think that that's something that needs to be addressed is, more sunshine on meetings and, the decision-making process. So as much as that can be done, especially in the administrative portion of a court, I think that should be done if possible.
Absolutely. Last one here. In closing, why do you think Governor DeWine should choose you over the other candidates?
Well, I have the experience in municipal court, not only with the criminal side, but civil side is huge in municipal court as well. People go there for small claims. They go for the evictions. There's many, suits on account. You have to know the civil side of working as well. And I've handled primarily that in municipal court. I mean, if you're going to put someone out of their house on an eviction, you need to know what you're doing. I can offer that. I can offer that experience. And if you think there is going to be another vacancy in January, you might want to consider thinking about putting someone with experience now, because you're going to have two relatively inexperienced judges in a short amount of time. So you really need to have somebody that knows which end of the tube the round comes out, so to speak. You've got to have someone that can hit the ground running, and continue doing the administration of justice for the people.
And I think I did miss one. So last one, this is finally the last one. Claremont County has a tradition of judges coming from the Claremont County Prosecutor's Office. What about that do you see as good or bad?
I don't see it good or bad. I think that they should be considered just as any other attorney. But I will say that a lot of times there's been an overemphasis on the criminal side. Yes, municipal court does criminal, misdemeanor, traffic, but the civil side is a huge part of the docket in a municipal court. And a lot of candidates are not heavy on the civil side when they come directly from the prosecutor's office. Now, I can be wrong on that, but typically there's the emphasis on the criminal. But I'm telling you, there's criminal and civil. And the people that come in front of the municipal court for their small claims, as I said, it may not be sexy to a lot of people, their lawnmower catches on fire, or their roof leaks or whatever. But it's very important to those people that come in front of you in the court to listen to them and make a fair and impartial decision. And I think I've demonstrated that I can be fair and impartial and in all aspects of the law, not only the criminal, but the civil as well.
Understood. Do we want to, Chris, do you want me to start with
Yeah, let's see. If anybody has any questions, I'll have one right now.
you got,
I have a few, I'm sorry.
oh yeah,
Sorry.
I'm going to bring it to you.
cool. I'll shuffle them best I can. You got one.
So I'm gonna, okay. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna, because I'm previewing them and gonna give them to them in order of what I think you should ask.
Okay. This is a good one.
And a completely arbitrary.
Yeah, a good one that I'm allowed to ask. Why do you think your competing attorneys for this appointment are not here?
I don't know. I don't know why they're not here. I can't speculate. I'm here because I was invited, and I wanted you to know a little bit about Jessica Little and what I have done, some of my accomplishments, and why I think I am a good fit for this position. Now, you all are, this is not like the central committee meeting that
Right.
makes the decision, but you're still people out in the public and, talk to people. I want to just share with you who I am and let the community know what I can offer.
Okay, so this one, there's 3 questions on here.
Got it.
I think the third one's confusing, but we'll come to that, but the first 2 are.
Okay. Sorry if I swear I'm
They're all
not,
great questions. They're all-
yeah, and I swear I'm not dyslexic. I can read, it just takes me a second with other people's handwriting. There's a culture in our courts. How would you approach and change that as a new judge? And how can you avoid becoming part of that culture? Not sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, judges are not supposed to be political. They're supposed to be fair and impartial. And you don't do anything political from the bench. You don't make decisions based on, a Republican policy or a Democratic policy or what you personally would like to see advanced. That's unacceptable. You have to be fair and impartial. Your decisions are based on the law, which is written down somewhere. You can always look it up and find the law. And as I said before, the hard part is the facts, but the law is there for everybody. We don't make it or shape it or twist it. It says what it says. So we just have to be fair and impartial.
Sorry, as an attorney, that it is beautiful hearing those words because again, sometimes it does not feel that way. Anyway, second question on here, I want to make sure I get it right. Are you a resident of Claremont County?
I am a resident of Claremont County. I live in Goshen Township. My husband and I built a house there. We've been in the house for a year. Before that, we rented in Williamsburg. And before that, I lived 25 years in Brown County. Lived in Claremont County in the 70s and 80s when I was younger. As I said, I graduated from Williamsburg High School. But I've been in Claremont County for the past 2 years. But if you add all the time up together, it's been at least 12. And then when I was born, my parents lived in Loveland, and my oldest sister and my brother graduated from Loveland High School. So I've been in this general area for for most of my life, if many, many years. And in fact, when I lived in Brown County, our back property was in Claremont. So I've been paying taxes to Claremont for, over 25 years. But yes, I've been here for more than 2 years lately because we sold our house. I wanted to be a little closer to my daughter and son-in-law. They live on the other side of Cincinnati. And then my oldest daughter, we're going to have my first grandchild here in September, so I'm very excited about that. In fact, I'm hosting the baby shower today at 1 o'clock. So,
here you are.
And here I am.
So if you want to come.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say, my husband might put you to work because they're setting trusses this morning on our pole barn.
If he's got cold beer, I'm happy to help you.
Coffee and donuts.
Right. Okay, third one. Would you run for an alternative position if you were not to get this judgeship?
An alternative position?
I'm assuming another elected position in Claremont County. I'm assuming that's what they mean.
I don't want to predict what the future is, but my intention right now would probably be to seek judicial office because I feel like I'm ready for that responsibility. I mean, I've been prosecutor. I don't have any other ambition. I feel that what I'm doing is my vocation, which is, to me, it's more than a job. It's the thing that you do that makes you happy and gives you that rewarding feeling. And to do that and be able to serve the public is the best job you could have. So I would say probably not.
Got it. Sorry, this might take me a second. I need Hunter or Joe Biden to translate Mandarin Chinese for me right now. Have you ever appeared in Claremont Municipal Court as an attorney? I'm guessing that's what this says.
I have a long time ago when I was in private practice, and I also did a couple special prosecutor positions for, it might have been Mr. White or Mr. Ferris, both. But I know I did one for sure in juvenile court.
Got it.
But yeah, I have been, but it's been a long time ago, and then the others were in the context of being a special prosecutor.
Got it. And again, I'm going to do my best. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm not saying I've done a lot. In fact, very little, if you want to be technical about it. So.
And again, I'm going to try and translate. What is the difference in, I think this is docket numbers, between Brown County and Claremont County Municipal Court? So I'm guessing they're asking the difference in caseload.
Oh, that's a good question. Because Brown County, we have less population. Our docket is not going to be as big, and that's true. But there's only one judge and one magistrate in Brown County. So when the judge is gone, the magistrate hauls the mail. In Claremont County, yes, you've got probably 3 times or better the population. Yeah. You've got 3 judges. You've got at least 2 magistrates. They're spreading the work out more. So yes, there is a discrepancy in the, not I'll say discrepancy, but there is a size difference. Yes.
Do you know how many civil cases the municipal court judges handle in Claremont as opposed to the magistrate? Not really sure what the context is.
How many does the magistrate handle in Claremont?
Do you know how many civil cases the municipal court judges handle in Claremont County as opposed to the magistrate?
I don't know the exact number opposed to the magistrate.
Good news is neither do I. So
I'm not sure, but okay. I'm sure that the number of cases is more in Claremont. That's a certainty.
Now I'm predicting that this is the question that you'll be most uncomfortable with, but it's a question, so I'm giving it to you, because we're not hearing any question unless you have
I would say that it's not asking how she would rule. Do you want to have a look at this to make sure? I don't want to. It looked like it would ask how you would rule, but.
Okay.
Well, make sure to read the question, or at least state what the question was before you.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Okay. Is there a law that states same-sex marriage is legal and that also originated in the House of Representatives and approved by the Senate? Please name the law.
It's my understanding we have a U.S. Supreme Court case about same-sex marriage. I'm not aware of anything legislatively that says about same-sex marriage, but right now the law of the land is, same-sex marriage is permitted, is allowed. And I'm going to follow the Constitution. I'm going to follow the court cases that are controlling in our jurisdiction and do that. If that's what the law says, whether I agree with the law or not is not relevant. It doesn't matter what I think. If the law is controlling, that's the law that you follow. If we have constitutional amendment that enshrined for the legalization of marijuana, fine. It's the people have, or not constitutional, that's a statutory, right. But that's the law that's here, and that's the law I'm going to follow. The same with the reproductive rights that was enshrined in the state constitution. We're going to follow the law that the people pass. It's not it's not for me to say, but the law, that law in particular, is going to be guiding us as controlling of legal authority from the Supreme Court.
No legislating from the bench. Is that what it
No
says?
legislating from the bench, exactly. You
I
got
feel
to
like
follow
I'm in
the
church
law.
on Sunday.
Wait, judges make
Yeah.
that decision, legislatures didn't make that decision, so they did
Right.
legislate from the bench.
Yeah, that was a Supreme Court call, for sure.
But on the bench, the Supreme Court, and we have to
Right.
follow
Right.
what that, because they're over us.
Right.
Even in the 12th district, whatever the 12th district, that's what we have to follow here.
The judges do make laws.
The judges are supposed to interpret the laws if there's a question.
In that case, they made the law.
Right.
The first problem is they're not going to be able to hear you because you're not wearing a microphone.
Yeah,
But it's
well,
also not an open audience participation at this juncture.
yeah.
Do we have,
That's all I had.
is that all you have?
You know.
Anybody? Oh, you got one?
Oh. Anybody has one, any others?
Cool.
I haven't even read that.
Oh, no, you're good.
I saw the first one.
Oh, this one's like a good one. Okay, I think I can read these. First one, this is a pretty straightforward. Are you a believer in God?
Am I a believer in God?
In God.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, okay. Did you receive a questionnaire from, I think this says, from Executive Central Committee?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Any outstanding
Any
cards?
other
or-
questions? Somebody has
Did
one to
you
bring
answer
in?
the questionnaire?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
So, all right, so thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
We're gonna finish up before, I'm gonna take your.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, man.
How many people thought that Mike Allen did a terrible job? Terrible job, raise your hands. And then,
Did I break it?
no?
That sounds like me.
Okay, and did a good job. Okay. So, Ms. Little, before you step down, is there anything else you want to add? Or a question, are there any questions that you didn't get asked that you wish somebody would have asked you?
Well, I mean, the Bill of Rights, I mean, that is the most beautiful thing I think that's ever been written, you know, in our Constitution, and it's important that we follow it. And some of the things I think the world has, that we've forgotten why we have certain things in the Bill of Rights. And when, I guess about, was it 2005 or 6, my husband and I, we took our daughters to Germany for Christmas, okay? And we had the best time there. It was beautiful. But we went into a museum called the Crime and Punishment Museum. And in that museum, and here's, you know, a 12-year-old and like an 8-year-old, you know, they have all these torture implements, like, you know, where they pull nails off and they put your eyes out, and just awful, horrible things, the actual things, like a baker that would make his loaves of bread too short, they would put him in a steel cage and hold him underwater. I mean, they really tortured people back then, racked them. And we saw all this, and it was like, this is what the founding fathers were talking about, you know, with why they don't want cruel and unusual punishment. It's not because an inmate didn't get whipped cream on his cherry pie, you know. That is what it was about. And we got to remember, you know, searches and seizures, and why it's important that we have our Constitution and our laws. You know, you go back, you got to think about the time that they were written, but it's people want to call it a living document. I think it's a timeless document, and we should be proud as a country that we have it.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your answers. For one, I could say that this is just my opinion. First time when she came in this morning, is the first time I ever talked to her or had any word with her. And I just want to say that I feel like you did a great job. I want to thank you for being here. And I'm going to make not a sarcastic comment, but I might understand now why the other two people didn't want to show up. Thank you, Jessica, very much. And thank you, Mike Allen Jr.
Thank you for having me.